I was surprised that the Jet had it in their headlines as myself being the first black person to coach a professional soccer team
You
in the
realize
United
that?
States.
Did you realize
So
that
that
at
was,
the time?
that was the first.
Did you realize you were the first at the time, or did you just
No, it
not
did,
even?
you know, it didn't bother me. I didn't think about it. And I remember I was on a radio show and a television show that is, and they were ranting and raving about, you know, it being the first black, how did it feel to be the first black coach and so on. I said, well, it doesn't faze me a bit, you know. I think I'm a good coach, and I being the first black coach doesn't faze me a bit, you know. But if I being the first black coach energizes other black coaches and players to play the game, but then I'm excited. But other than that, you know, I'm just a coach, and I think very highly of myself, and I have high expectation for myself and for everything I do, and that's the most important thing for me.
How did they judge you in those time period coming from Trinidad, which is a small Caribbean island? I'm sure people looked at the Caribbean as backwards, or people who don't really know the game, or at low education, or did you feel any type of resentment or type of prejudice against your background?
Well, yes, with the Baltimore Bays, it was tough with the Bays. I wasn't a starter there. I sat on the bench for about 24 games.
Wow.
You know, before I did get my chance, and I told my coach was Gordon Jago, and he apologized one time. We were doing a clinic and a banquet, and he said that I was such a good person and always do well, even though I'm not playing. And I remember at that banquet, I said, I know my position and I know what the coach has to do. But anytime you, Coach Gordon Jago, let me in that goal, I'm not going to come out. And so said, so done. When I got into that position, you know, I never came out. So the guys rooted for me and so on. But when we got to the Washington Darts, we had about 4 or 5 Scottish players, you know, and they didn't, you know, they didn't look to me as a knowledgeable coach. Yeah. And I've always at that time I was in the army, you know, so I had that sergeant mentality, you know, and I know that I know the game. I know I didn't learn the game from a book. Yeah, you know, I learned the game from playing all positions, striker, halfback, defender, and playing it well. So I learned the game. And I always welcome any one of them to let's sit down and talk about the game, you know? And so I got challenged a lot, you know, but I played my position well. We won games. And then we started bringing in more and more Caribbean players. At one point, at the second year of the Washington Darts, we had 9 black players on the team.
Wow.
9 black players. We had 2 players from Ghana, Will Evans and Phillips, who is now the coach of Howard University. Yes. His dad played for me. He was a striker.
What?
And and we were winning. And so nobody could tell me anything. Right. But now the pushback came from the league itself. We were winning all the games. Nobody could beat us. Okay. But the what do you call it? The guy in charge of the league, the commissioner. Yeah, he came up with this bright idea that in order to improve the level of soccer in the United States on the professional level, we have to have all English coaches. What? So there was a move. There was a move to have all English coaches, you know. But it didn't happen in my reign because, you know, we were with all West Indian players and African players, we were just unstoppable. Wow. So that's how we got the feedback. But the real pushback was when I went to coach at Howard University.